Everybody, welcome back to the book club, the HoloNet Marauders book club. I'm pretty jazzed to talk about some cool comics tonight with you guys.
Yeah, some cool comics.
And it's going to be a fun time because it was kind of a unique week, I guess, because Aphra 12.
You got the Boba variant.
You got the green guy.
Got the
My
green
comic
guy.
shop
Boy.
didn't even have Aphra.
Really?
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So these comics are cool because they happen like at the same time, and we'll get to that at some point. But Levi, last night you told me to read. Apparently, you're supposed to read Aphra 12 before
First.
Bounty Hunters 2, War of the Bounty Hunters 2, and that paid off. That was good. It would have been fine either way, but it made it better, I assume.
All right. So, what are the two comics we're actually talking about today? Like, hold them up so that way everybody knows up front what we're talking about.
It's Dr. Aphra,
Aphra,
issue 12.
Yeah.
And then War of the Bounty Hunters, issue 2. So War of the Bounty Hunters, to go over again, is like the glue holding this huge crossover together. It's a mini series. It's only 5 issues. You're getting one a month. But in between, all of the other stories right now set during this time are doing crossover issues. And at this point, it's getting to like the threshold where you should be reading them all. Otherwise, it's starting to get a little bit confusing. Like, spoilers here, obviously. But so, for example, at the end of War of the Bounty Hunters, the main cast of the OT is just there. And you're like, if you weren't reading the other stuff, you'd be like, whoa, but you've seen them get to this point in their own stories in the tie-ins. So there's that. There's the War of the Bounty Hunters issue 2. And then Aphra 12, which is one of these aforementioned tie-ins. So that's what we're talking about.
Yes. Aforementioned, if you will.
Aphra, whoa, that's a good one right there.
That's good. You can sign off.
Off to a good
night.
Off to a good start.
And don't
Comedy
have-
store called They Want the Comedian Back. Yeah.
I saw today, actually, not to talk about Seinfeld, but some minor league team called like the Jumbo Shrimp. They're having a promotion tonight with the bobblehead, and it's George eating the shrimp, and it's bottom says the ocean called. So there we go.
Perfect.
That's great. That's great.
Ties right into our comics.
Oh, yeah.
So let's dive into Dr. Aphra number 12. Party Tricks is the title.
I love the names.
Yeah, they're always a fun time. So last time we saw Aphra and Sana, they were on running away from Dirge, or running away with Dirge, I should say.
With Dirge, and they
from those
locked him out.
They airlocked him. Yeah, they vented him.
And you just know he's gonna pop up again at some point here. But yeah, they hear about the invite to the party, and then it starts off on the Vermilion, the Crimson
They're
Dawn's,
sent there by this. They're sent there. It's a confusing connection, but by General Tag's sister, Demina Tag, who is
There you go.
From the original Marvel Comics run. That's her origin, but she is the sister of that guy in A New Hope who gets force choked by Vader. Who goes,
Yeah.
Your sorcerer's ways don't.
That's fun.
Yeah.
You guys just made that
really
connection
fun.
now? Yeah, it's the tag.
Yeah,
Of course,
oh
I
my
just
God.
made that connection now. Do you think we know these things? No.
It's the tag.
I should know these things.
This is why we're here.
It's the Tag family, Tagge. And so he's the guy also in the Vader 2015 comic who becomes Grand General, and then at the end, and then Vader chokes him out. He's like the main guy in that comic who's like, well, I survived the Death Star and I was right. And so the Emperor promotes him, and he's like, Vader, listen to this guy. But then Vader kills everybody and then kills him and then takes the Executor. And then it's his ship, and it has red engines now, and it's cool. Anyway, so
Gotta have red engines.
So
Okay.
his sister is Demina Tag, and she's like she's like a crime tycoon, also like business. They make ships and stuff. And she's a character. And she's a character from Girl Boss, absolute Girl Boss. And she's from the 77 to 1986 comic run, and she was recanonized in the Aphra run. And she has been sending. I don't know if I'm not familiar if you guys have read the previous stuff, because I knew with Bounty Hunters you were a little bit out of the depth.
I'm out of the depth. Assume we know nothing.
Fill us in.
Yeah, so another sibling, her was like sent Aphra to get these rings. It was a whole thing, and then she ended up burning him alive. He still survived though. He's a charred husk. It's gonna be a whole thing. Ronin Tag, but then Demina was not too happy about that, and she was like, Aphra, you're pretty well renowned. They actually needed to steal, because it was a hyper. a total tangent here, but you guys will understand this. Someone in the hyperspace industry claimed they had a path engine from the High Republic and was like, "We're gonna make that happen." And Domina was like, "If that happens, then no one can make any money off of hyperspace anymore. I will lose all my money because if people can just jump around like that, the hyperspace lanes mean nothing, and I lose a bajillion credits. So make sure that's not real." And so they went to go check that out, and it was a fake. Then a lot of Nile references. It was fun. It was a fun High
that's
Republic.
right.
I remember that.
It was
Yeah.
a fun High Republic jaunt. But then Crimson Dawn busts into the scene, and Domina is like, "Yo, Sana, Aphra, go check it out, my minions. See what's up. Report back to me." So that's why they're here.
I love how in the entire party, just to go full at face level here, I love how the entire time Aphra and Sana are literally just like, you know what? Pretty much everyone in this room wants to kill us, but they don't know it. Or everyone in this room wants to kill each other, but they possibly don't know it,
And
or
that's
they
what makes
do.
it fun.
But yeah, that's what makes it fun. And then like no one is actually like ready to like pull a blaster on each other. Although Sana like tries to do it like 3 times, and they're like,
Yeah.
no, stop.
Also,
Stop.
super deep connection because I'm just on the first page right here. So Crimson Dawn's cool like fortress ship is called the Vermilion, which is just a cool name. It's also just a fucking badass ship, if I may say. And I'm rereading Last Shot right now, Daniel Jose Older's Han Solo novel, and one of the ships in that is called the Vermilion, and that takes place after this. And I was like, headcanon, maybe they named the ship after this one.
Maybe.
Wow,
There you go.
Maybe.
that is
fun.
interesting.
2 ships named the Vermilion. Who knew?
I really
Maybe it's
love
just a
the.
coincidence.
Is it the same ship?
It's definitely just a coincidence. It's not the same ship. It's like a New Republic prison transport.
I never know.
I really love the image of the Vermilion just like landed with its giant projected
Yeah.
Crimson Dawn
Yeah.
logo.
The
It's
neon
just very
light.
cool.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs to know we're here.
Well, so if I may, because I sort of vibing out that you guys have read less of the most recent comics than I have. Maybe let me take you through a little bit here, because I've got it right in front of me. So
A
we
lot.
have Jabba and the whole Hut, the whole entire Hut Council,
Buff Hut.
Buff Hut.
Yeah.
You got not Gracchus, but Boku this time. 2 Buff Huts in canon. So I want to point that out. And what you guys are just as qualified as me to talk about that because that's the Hut Council.
Yeah.
But then you have this new character. You got Goody from the Black Sun, and they keep talking about this fiasco on Ryloth. And I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see it.
All
But-
these
A
falling.
lot of fiascos on
They're
Ryloth.
making me anxious.
Yeah, like Zizor is gonna pop out.
I was
of the
gonna say
shadows.
we're between Empire and Return. They're playing up the Falling and the Black Sun. Give us Caesar.
maybe.
What are they waiting for?
And then the other character is Vukora, and she's been a character in the comics. The Unbroken Clan, as I mentioned last week, the Unbroken Clan and the Mourner's Wail have like that whole syndicate war going on, and there's the kid that Valance like adopted. That's
Right.
that storyline, and so
Yeah, you were
she is
telling
like
us about that
she is
last
the
week.
head of that, and so she's here. That's why they say Corellians. Am I right? Because that's that whole plot line is the Corellia stuff. Anyway, and then of course, I don't want to just totally dominate the conversation here, but Sly Moore. So take it away with Sly Moore because it's our
I really
we-
like that she can use the Force. That was a Legends thing, right?
Yes.
was a Legends thing.
And was
yes.
that confirmed in this one, right? This was the first time we really see her
Yes.
using the Force. Is it? I think
What
it's
is
in
she-
War of the Bounty Hunters and not this. Is it in both? I forget.
What does she do to use the Force? I may
So
have missed
she it's played like a pretty funny scene. So
Yeah.
there's the bidding war for Han Solo. That's why everyone's here. They're all betting on Han Solo, and they make a bid, and she like reaches out and she's like, "No more bids will be made." But the Huts, as we know from Return of the Jedi, the Force doesn't work on
They're
them.
not,
Mind
they're
tricks
not
don't work.
stupid.
So the Huts just keep bidding against each other, and Sly Moore is like, "Oh."
Oops.
Because no one else bids, but she reaches out like, "Do not worry, I will stop it." And Jabba just goes, "1 million," and she's like, "Hmm." I laughed a little bit. I was like, that was
Okay,
funny.
okay.
That
That
was
was
good.
funny. That was a funny moment.
I didn't pick up on that honestly. Like I honestly did not realize that that's what was happening.
It's pretty subtle, I guess.
I'm glad that you mentioned it.
So there you go. Confirmation that
1
Sly Moore
million.
can use the Force in canon, which is, I think, a pretty big deal. At least depending on what they use her for going forward.
It was. By the way, it was an Aphra where we see her like reach
Actually,
out
like,
and
raising her hand.
the a million because
Yeah.
you see him yell 1 million credits in this as well. There's a lot of crossover between these 2 issues. They are
Yeah.
happening at the same time. You see scenes from different perspectives, but some of the same panels even. But yeah, it is in Aphra where, or no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Aphra. It's in War of the Bounty Hunters. I have War of the Bounty Hunters out physically and Aphra on my iPad here, so I was like, I'm getting them mixed up. It's the
I'm
other.
just nodding because
Okay.
because I know
Either
the
way,
same story, and I
it's
know
a
that it
funny-
happened in one of
either
those
way-
that came out.
Either
today.
way, it's a funny ass scene, and I laughed.
Yeah, it was great. And speaking of the Boba Fett War of the Bounty Hunters issue,
Hey, whoa.
we
I had
we
one more
see-
question about Aphra.
oh, I'm still on Aphra.
Okay.
But as we said, they're concurrent.
All right, go.
We see the two ladies go over to the bar and just kind of chill after Aphra spilled a drink on
Another Falleen.
The falling lady, I forget her name.
Yeah. So then she plants a bug on her necklace, and they overhear her in the bathroom doing God knows what. And
cleaning off her dress and complaining.
but they don't really
as
get any
one does.
information.
Before you go there,
because-
though.
yeah.
Just kidding.
No,
I
go.
just want to give a real big shout out to. There's one, like, it's the corner of that panel where she looks at the necklace and she's worried because she sees the Umbaran, she sees Sly Moore and is worried about Vader, and it's like his eye and then her being vented out
Yes.
the airlock from
Right.
2015, and I was
Yeah.
like, I love her fear, and she
Dude,
thinks
she
of
has,
that
like,
moment.
She has like PTSD, like
It's
hard
so good.
PTSD. Like when she
I was
sees
like-
it in the comic too, she like panics.
It's good stuff. Go
It
ahead.
is good stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, we see a hooded figure come over, and it was really cool because Aphra's like, your voice sounds familiar from like the holovids from Coruscant about the clones or whatever. So it's like, wait a minute, who the heck's this? And he's like, I'm not a clone. So it's like, oh, okay, it's Boba. Who else would it be? So
Yeah, what a
that was a
mystery.
really cool thing to see. And he kind of has the look. I mean, you don't really see much of his face, but I imagine him looking just like, obviously, what he looks like in Mandalorian, just not too scarred up yet. That's
All
what I was
burnt up.
picturing.
Yeah.
Not all
Yeah.
burnt up from the Sarlacc juice and whatnot. So
Sarlacc
Ugh.
juice.
I do
Sarlacc,
want to point out, though, just for anyone who's like a huge fan of these comics, we did technically skip some stuff. So
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in this comic as well, you have a plot line from the main run with Just Lucky and Ariel, who are. It's a whole thing. I mean, we don't really have a lot on them. They're pretty new characters. Like Ariel himself was only introduced like 3 issues ago as Just Lucky's ex, and his name is Just Lucky, which is always confusing for me. I'm like, that's his name. It's Just Lucky.
Just lucky.
There's a whole thing with that. We don't really know. He Just Lucky is working as a bounty hunter because his brother is like trapped in this gambling like debt on Canto Bight, and he works for this like spider lady who sends him to assassinate people. He's like a reluctant assassin, but he has to do it to keep his brother out of debt. It's a whole thing. But they have been sent by Spider Lady to kill their former mentor, and that's why they're here. Just want to clarify that. So that's the old guy that they run into.
The guy
Yeah.
with the
Okay.
exquisite chops.
Exquisite.
As a
Chop.
chop connoisseur.
he's like an ex-assassin and trained these two guys to be assassins. And they were like brothers or whatever.
but you didn't train them
Also
to grow
love her.
rad facial hair.
But then they split apart. Yeah, Cray, that's her name. That's Spider Lady. It's Cray.
Cray.
She's a pretty cool design. She's like she's like kind of webbish bog. She's like more intense webbish bog design.
ooh,
But yeah, so that's why they're here. I just want to point out that that's like half of the story is them trying to
yeah, it's like a random pop in of them. So yeah,
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the
if
full
you're not
context.
following the Just
I
wanna
mean,
point that
you
out.
you can pick up that it's a guy that they know from their past who is kind of bad news, and then they fight him, and he's like, "Oh, you guys, I haven't seen you in forever, and I'm gonna fight you now." And it's
Oh,
like,
you
"All right, cool,
guys.
whatever." As
Oh,
you can
you
see, like
guys.
I'm just a casual enjoyer of these comics, and I don't know the full backstory, but I'm having a good time. I'm having
Yeah.
a good time.
we're gonna.
Speaking of having a good time, look how good of a time Kira's having. Oh,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
There is the other guy.
Yeah.
He's
this
having
is-
a
that.
great time. She
He is.
literally says in one of them, she's like, "I love a good party," and it's
dude,
just
she's
like, oh,
living.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
What a great outfit too.
Yeah.
She's loving auctioning Han off.
I
Interesting,
love
quote-unquote.
her introduction about it. She's like, I've gathered you all here, and there's only one man in the galaxy who has pretty much swindled all of you, which is true. And it's Han, and I just love it. And like, it's interesting because she just has like a really, really big smile on her face the entire time. So her true motive of why she's doing this to Han is really interesting. So we don't know.
Yeah, we
Shout
don't know
out-
what happened
Shout
there.
out to Margot, by the way, who continues to appear.
Yeah, she's
Go
just
Margot.
like
She looks
Yeah,
great
yeah.
too.
just chilling.
Looking good.
She's chilling in the back.
I love in both of their outfits as well. Looking at this closely with Margot and with Kira, they both have the Crimson Dawn logo, like very like prominent on both of them. Like Kira's, it's very very prominent on the top of her like cape, and then like Margot has like a bunch of them just like patterned like all together. But it's really cool to like see that how they're really representing at the party.
I just love you're always noticing the costumes. That's what I
do.
Yeah, no, you're the costume person.
I'm also in love with Aphra and Sana's capes. Like those are fantastic. Like full 360 shots of them as well. So I'm like
boots with the fur.
Boots with the fur.
Yeah.
Cloaks with the fur.
Crimson Dawn. Looking at her.
Yeah. So I want to mention something real quick. That Pauline lady, when she gets her drink spilled on her, I found it really odd that she goes to like a regular looking Earth bathroom to like wash her dress. It was like a row of sinks, and I was like, really? That's what Star Wars.
That's what it's going to look like.
It's the refresher, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, of course, the refresher. But that's what a refresher looks like. We have a different name for it, but we can't make it look a little funky and cool.
We don't have many looks at restrooms in Star Wars.
Actually,
there's like
actually,
do you have a list? Do you have a bunch?
I got at least one in my brain.
Which one?
Where in Mutiny on Mon Cala, the 8th volume of the 2015 Star Wars run, when they're like trying to, Princely Char is like dying from the Clone Wars. He's like all old and dying.
Oh yeah, wow, I do remember. I remember that.
And they got to like bust out the Mon Calamari ships to be with the Rebel fleet. This is between A New Hope and Empire. But there's this great scene, like they're using a Claudite, the same species as Zam Wessel, the Faith Face Changers, to like impersonate a Moff, and like to give this speech. And while they're doing that, Han, Chewie, and the gang is doing some sneaking around, and they're like they go into a Mon Calamari bathroom, and Han and Chewie are like pretending to be like doormen, like in the bathroom, and Han's all dressed up, and like there's this Imperial officer, and she's like, what the hell is the Wookiee for? And Han's like, oh, you wipe your hands on him. It's very it's new. It's in fashion. And Chewie's just standing there and he's got this funny suit on, and he's like, I'm the bellboy.
So
and you see a bathroom there. That's a bathroom.
Then what does it look like?
It
Stalls,
looks like it's got stalls and sinks. It looks like an earth bath.
Look,
so I would never imagine that Mon Cala of all people would have similar bathrooms to.
I can look and see if I can.
Dude, go.
So we have that.
This is big. I want bathroom lore.
I want bathroom lore as well. I'm super excited to see this.
The funniest part about that thing I just pulled up, it's from Men's Health.
I saw that and I was like,
look, Mandalorian shows us a Star Wars bathroom for the first time.
So we have the one that Levi just mentioned. We have the bathroom on the Razor Crest with the vac tube, right? And then you know what? We're missing the most important one: the shower in Solo on the AT hauler. Why is there?
Yeah. I guess you don't. It's nice.
This article is fantastic.
I love it.
While I look for this to keep you guys talking, Boba Fett comes up and is like, "Hey, make a distraction while the bid is going on." And so the bid starts, but then Vader busts in with some like dummy thick death troopers. They kind of got like thick thighs. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then she has like an intense flashback to, I don't know if you guys have read it, but 2015.
Yeah. It's so funny because I've read like a lot of the comics, but they're all scattered around. Like I have the first like 6 volumes of each of the first like 2015 runs. Ooh, look at that.
Is that a bathroom?
Yeah, look at those sinks.
I can barely see.
I think it's so funny that you guys think that the sinks in the bathrooms in Star Wars would look so different. This is like something like on like my radar that I'd like be like obsessed with, and it is.
They must have bathrooms in KOTOR, right? I don't remember them as well.
Let me try to show you. Like, look, I'm trying. I'll get up. I just want to say, like, you're look at the sinks.
I'll try.
The bottom.
It's all about the sinks.
Let's take a look at this.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I see the sinks. Yeah, I see them. That looks like a human Earth bathroom. That is not what I would expect.
How can you make
a bathroom at like the mall right there? It's a big old mall bathroom. It's got. Like,
if you play Mass Effect, that's obviously very futuristic, and the bathrooms look very earthy there too. Slightly futuristic.
A bathroom is a bathroom at the end of the day, and no matter what happens, if someone spills a drink on a woman's dress at a party, she's gonna panic and just run to the bathroom and deal with it. And that was very on brand. That's just how it works.
In the case of Star Wars, welcome to Star Wars bathroom talk.
Star Wars bathroom talk.
I don't think these Death Troopers look that thick.
Look at their thighs, dude. Yeah, but
Can't
look
see
at
that.
you got to look at
A little
them compared to
shiny.
you got to look at them to how they are in that shot, and then how they look in War of the Bounty Hunters, because you get the same panel just drawn by two different artists.
Are they thicker in that?
No, they're thicker in Aphra. These are thick troops.
So I
Thick
think
troops.
we're probably going to get some background on thick-thighed Death Troopers in the Bad Batch. I
See,
think
look at
that's
this.
probably what
I thought you were going to say in the
Yeah.
bathroom.
I agree.
Less thick.
Thick
They're
thigh
more,
troopers
more
in the bathroom.
widespread.
Okay,
This
one of
is-
them is thick and then one of them isn't. So what's going on there?
They skip leg day.
One of
Skip leg
them,
day?
Clearly.
yeah, one of them eats a little too many of those blue macaroons.
One of them doesn't eat enough Krabby Patties.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
anyway, so
And then
Aphra,
you'll explode.
so I feel like we sort of skipped over, but Vader busts in. So last time we saw him and Boku were palling it up with IG-88, trying to kill him. And IG-88 shoots himself in the head. It's crazy. It's good stuff.
We didn't
But-
see Ochi this time.
No,
not
Ochi.
there.
Ochi's
He's out
probably
on
like,
the ship.
yeah, out on the ship. He's probably right behind. But they're on this. They're doing this thing. They're trying to find Han, and they're like, oh, Crimson Dawn is back. And so I think we're gonna find out in the next Vader issue, which we got a preview of today, how Sly Moore and Vader both get there, because they're both there separately. And in the preview for today, Sly Moore gets like demoted after failing to kill Vader in the previous arc, which is a whole thing. The Exegol stuff, she was like tasked with killing him by Palpaloid. But Palpatine, of course, was like, she's like, I failed. I didn't kill him. And Palpatine's like, yes, and just laughs. You know,
As he
classic
always
Palpatine
does.
fashion. He's like, you never supposed to. But so Vader shows up, busts in, is like, Han Solo is mine. So we'll see how that goes, because Jabba wins the bid, but now
Yeah.
Jabba and Vader are going to go at it. And
But they have a history. They like each other enough.
no, maybe
No, they don't really like each other.
a
all.
little bit, kind of. But
It all dates
But-
back to Stinky.
important.
Yeah.
Oh god, I didn't even think about that.
Does Jabba? I don't even think Jabba knows
I
Vader
don't
is
think
Anakin.
No.
They've
No.
met a lot though in the comic.
Yeah.
Vader often walks into the palace and is like, "Hey, I need your business." Jabba's like, "All right, dude." But it has a lot to do with Obi-Wan, because after he goes to Tatooine, he's like, "Jabba, what the hell? Obi-Wan was living here?" And Jabba was like, "Oh." Anyway, but Aphra, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the character as a whole of Aphra, but she has this great flashback sequence to Vader almost killing her.
I know. I read the 2015 Vaders.
And then the issue ends. And so that was Aphra. What do you guys
Well,
think?
no, the issue ends when she drops the thing,
And he looks
turns
over.
her and he's
Okay,
like,
yeah.
and that's when it ends, which is I think even bigger because that means that he sees her, like he
And
notices.
they
her.
have not met. The last time they saw each other, she trapped him with like force angst and left. That's the best way I can describe it. They actually went to Tython,
Right.
the same planet as the Mandalorian. They were on the polar ice caps of Tython. And
Right.
to escape him, she dug up some like old force artifact that makes you sad on the inside, and it like traps him. Well,
And
yeah,
they,
'cause
and they have a history of doing that to each other.
Yeah, it was just the one
Yeah.
of many times that Aphra
they're not on good terms. But
never.
ditched Vader.
yeah, not on good terms. Not on good terms.
So I don't know. I know we'll talk about the Boba Fett comic too up next, but I don't know what would Vader's first reaction to like seeing Aphra and confirming it's her be.
Killing her instantly.
But I feel like they've done
He's
this
too
over and
polite
over
for
though.
that. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be a party pooper.
He's too polite for that.
He's too.
I don't
polite.
know. He's not like literally the whole thing is she met him and was like, "Hey, if you ever kill me, please don't send me out an airlock." And he went out of his way to not kill her by any other way, and then put her in an airlock. And was like, "Screw you! I'm gonna
Hey,
kill
and
you."
then
And then
Aphra
she's-
does that to Dirge. So
She's learning.
she's
Yeah,
learning.
sure.
Yeah, she is smart. She's very smart.
But no,
Anyway, he would go for the kill. I think instantly.
you think like immediately, like right in the middle of the party, he sees her and he's like, "All right, just gonna crush
Yeah.
you right here."
Yeah, because
Why
the only
not?
reason that, because okay, so he vents her the first time. She's alone for a while. They meet back up again because Palpatine. There's this whole thing with one of Palpatine's propaganda ministers.
Yeah.
and
I
Palpatine-
mentioned that.
and Palpatine manipulates that situation to eliminate one of his rivals. But Aphra like saves the Emperor, technically speaking. Like it was all definitely part of his plan. He played everybody, but like Aphra is in good graces with the Empire at that point, and so Palpatine is like, yes, you know, I pardon you.
That was good.
And
That was
he
good.
and he prevents Vader from killing her, and Vader's like, we should kill her, but she's not really pardoned. She gets like essentially indentured servitude to be like a scientist helping Vader hunt the rebels and like being an archaeologist and trying to find their base. But then, as I said, she traps him on Tython and GTFOs. So they haven't seen each other since then. And so I feel like after what she did to him, I feel like he'd want to kill her.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because he wanted to kill her the next time, but Palpatine stopped him. I feel like he's got he wants death.
Do the Palpatine yes again.
Yes.
That's good. That's good stuff. Ooh,
So
that's good.
War of the Bounty Hunters #2.
Here we go. Number 2.
We see
the Scoundrel's Ball.
The same
which
shot.
Is a great name. Love that.
The same shot of the Vermilion with the projected neon light.
Same shot.
It is the same shot.
It's a frame.
The camera has been framed.
Yeah, frames, shots.
Oh, and we're talking first page. I love the way like the elite Crimson Guard troops look. So cool because it's the design from Solo, but they got like purple and
all
red.
I see is Kira.
Yep, there they are.
They look. They look so cool.
There goes the worth of that comic. No, they do look great. They remind me of the. Did you say they remind you of the Sith Guard or no?
Well, I didn't say that, but the answer is they do. I mean,
okay,
yes.
Good. Yeah, you're correct.
Do you mean the Sovereign Protectors?
Yes.
Their name from the Tross Visual Dictionary.
Very cool design with like their Halo blasters.
They're all known as the Sovereign Protectors, technically.
No, only the guards, the Palpatine one.
Yeah, the Palpatine guards.
Look at this party.
The red guy.
Party
I love
city.
A good party.
Relax.
Party city.
It's a party.
Not the store.
My favorite part of this is you have a droid band, and one of them is clearly playing an instrument that you have to blow through.
Yep. Yeah, he's playing a horn. He's rocking the horn.
But it's a droid, and
he's an air droid.
It's automated. It's automated.
The air droid.
Oh, look at the little dude on the drums.
He's on break from being the air dryer in the bathroom with all the sinks.
Oh yeah, there's a little like pit droid with a mustache on the drums.
Yeah, or like he's on the cymbal.
Where the hell are you seeing that?
Playing the bell.
He has one red eye and like a long head and like a little mustache.
If you guys are watching like Aliens as much as we do, get some visuals of this comic because there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's one page. There's one panel on. I'm going to say page 17 for anybody reading the virtual comic, but there's one panel that has 3 Canto Bight aliens in the background and in the foreground, actually, all over the place.
They're everywhere.
They're great. It's awesome.
Canto Bight aliens.
Canto Bight aliens. There's mentions of Canto Bight in Aphra.
It takes up like 90 minutes of The Last Jedi. It's crazy.
Yeah,
90 minutes.
It's like the whole movie is on
the whole
Canto
movie.
Bight.
It's actually 2 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 actually.
2.5. Wow, yeah.
2:29.
Yeah, and then Crate is a minute.
Definitely not 9 minutes.
No, definitely not.
Definitely
9 minutes. Nope.
An hour,
whole movie.
a movie that's 155 minutes. But I digress.
This comic even makes the huts look beautiful. Look at that.
It is. It's great.
Look at all the colors.
It's gorgeous. So yeah, as we mentioned, or rather as I mentioned, the whole Hut Council is here, and they're beefing. They're beefing.
Yeah.
You got
Oh,
young,
they're beefing, all right.
They're beefy and they're beefing.
You got young Boku, ripped stud, young guy on the scene in the council, is like, why are we here? We let Crimson Dawn come beg to us on Nar Shaddaa. And Jabba's like,
have a drink.
Jabba's like,
Relax.
screw you, dude. I'm just trying to have a good time. But so Boku is working for Vader. I'll put that out there too. Boku's got that
right
connection to Vader, if you remember from the last few issues. He's like an Imperial plant, but he is still a stud. Anyway, so he's like, yeah. So they have that. That's why the bidding war starts later, where they're like, no, my bid is bigger. My bid is bigger, and it's the whole thing. But so there's that. So that is set up that there's turmoil amongst the huts. But then we get Boba, and Boba's like, I gotta get in there. But I'll get to later. But Bosk shows up, and I think this is one of the coolest sequences in Star Wars comics. He blows Bosk's legs off,
Yeah.
and Bosk is like, Boba, I'm cold-blooded. And he's like, so am I. Or like before that, though, he says, I'm going to leave you here to send a message. And Bosk is like, what's the message? And Boba just says, don't.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like
Don't.
what a badass. Like, the message is just don't.
I love it.
Yeah,
Ugh,
that Bosk attack at the beginning is just funny. Like he just pops up. He's like, "I'm
so
gonna
good.
kill you, Boba," and then Boba's like, "Nope." Slices his legs off, ties him to a stump, and walks away.
Boba's
It's
been
just so nonchalant.
So
literally
good.
blowing these like famous bounty hunters away that we all know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say all we know and love. But
So
yeah.
Bosk says, "You're gonna kill me," and Boba says, "No, I'm gonna use you to send a message. This is the message. Don't."
Don't.
and it's just don't. But
Nope.
bolded, and it's one panel of Boba's visor. I'm like, this is the coolest thing. Like I
Badass.
can hear it in Tamora's voice. You know.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the one Hut clan member who's in the back just like slurping on her drink? Like
Yeah,
all
I love
party?
that.
Yeah, and with the straw, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Like-
just slurping.
Just inhaling everything. I love I love that. I love with Bosk also. He like throws out the hey, I've known you since you were a kid. You shouldn't do this to me. Like tries to guilt him, and it's just like, no, it's not gonna work.
Sorry, buddy.
I just love it also. And just so casually chops off his legs, and then it's just they're gonna grow back. And Boba,
But it's still an insult.
whatever.
Oh,
How long does
it's
it take
It's
to
a-
grow
Ah.
back?
Well, Skier's arm is coming back.
Yeah, we get the
It's pretty
his
quick.
baby arms coming up,
It's
right?
a little
So,
little nub.
yeah.
Yeah, I just love Boba Fett. If you didn't like Boba Fett before, the last year surely has made a few people Boba Fett fans
The
from
year
Mando,
Boba.
Mando
Right.
season 2 and this, because my God, is he oozes cool. Like it's just yeah, I love Bosk has like this little cloak. He looks like a peasant boy in like London in 1850. Like, please, sir, may I have some pence? And
Have
Boba
some
just
legs.
Boba just blows his legs off. It's like
I love it.
It's classic. Oh, I'm cold, sir. It's cold out here.
Oh, you're cold. Poor Bosk.
Poor boss.
So now
oh yeah,
back to the party, and the next few, it literally says "See Aphra number 12," so it's literally the next few same frames that we
And might
see
I
from
add,
Aphra.
though, in the
It adds some more dialogue, yeah.
in the background of this frame, I believe you can see the Squid Lake Mon Calamari dancer
Ooh,
in
you're right.
that bubble there behind at the very top.
Holy
behind-
cow!
Squid Lake. I
Squid
love
Lake,
We love
Deep-
the opera Squid
deep
Lake.
deep cut Squid Lake. I'm
it.
digging.
That's
Deep cut.
Holy squid!
Holy,
Holy
squid.
squid!
That's what they say.
Oh yeah.
And then we see Kira again, but there's a lot more dialogue this time than in the other comic.
This is the full.
She has more of an
Welcome,
introduction,
welcome.
and hey, here's Han. It reminds me of like some like in like a game show. What is it? Price is Right, and they're
I knew
showing
you were
off
gonna say a
like
game show.
yeah, they're showing off like the vacation
new
in the
car!
car. That's like what Kira's doing.
A new
And you'll win.
Han.
A new Han, an old
Can you-
Han.
Can you show the Sly Moore reaching out with the Force? Because she just looks so goofy. I love it. She's like,
Yeah.
and
Hopefully, I don't
And-
butcher it.
then
Is that there?
and
Why?
Jabba's just like,
There you
screw
go.
you.
There she is.
There.
Yes.
And that's the panel
That's the other
with all the
alien.
Canto Bite aliens. And
Yeah.
in the previous page too, there's a panel with another one.
And
Yeah.
Jabba says 1 million credits, and she says the Hutts apparently are rather strong-willed. I'm like, well, yes.
Oh, really?
Hey, all you
How
needed
could
was
you tell?
Watto there, bidding like left and right.
Hey,
Yeah.
who are you? Some kind of Jedi.
Imagine Jabba
Waving
and
your hand
Watto.
around like that.
Holy
That'd
crap.
be great. You guys glossed over the fact that Boba, yeah, Boba takes care of Bosk,
Boba.
and then he just like goes to like I guess kill those other guys to steal their invitations, just to steal their robes also.
Right.
And I love that entire sequence of Boba walking up to Aphra, recognizing her, even though she's like in disguise, and he's like, "I know who you are," and Aphra's like, "Whoa," and like I loved how for like a brief moment it was kind of suspenseful for like reading the Dr. Aphra comic first, because like we don't know it's Boba at that point in time, we just know it's a clone voice, and then it's like we like 99.99999% know it's Boba, but maybe it's not. But then in the actual Bounty Hunters comic, you're like, okay, yeah, this is Boba asking for
kicks.
help. No, not at that point.
Not yet.
But
He's still
for a
he's still
split
sleeping.
second though, I was like, what if it's like Rex? But then I'm like, no.
I really wish I got one of the
Like-
variants because this cover to me is so funny. It's just Boba's floating head,
I know.
Boring.
Jabba's fat face, and then Han, and then the Slave One just like flying. It's
I
so
got
weird.
the Hauser colored.
That's
issue.
not Hauser
yeah.
colored.
It's a little-
Excuse me.
You need a
Hauser
little more
colored.
blue.
That's not
What
Hauser
are you
colored.
talking
Little-
about? This is worse than your Moff
Our
Gideon
little
take.
our little subtitles here are closer to Hauser than
Yeah.
that green that is
you're
on
probably
your
right.
cover. That green's
Hauser-
not even Boba Fett green. It's like green screen green.
All right.
Yeah.
Do your best fan edits of the Boba Fett variant cover of Star Wars Bounty Hunters. Go,
But make
go wild.
green.
Also, we
How's your
tweeted out
feel?
the other day, Baja Ballast.
Dude,
Alice,
So
retweeted it. It's a good one.
that's
There's
great.
that.
That's great.
Because okay, like it is like we love Baja Blast in this house, right? The Mountain Dew you can only get Taco Bell, but every once in a while they release it like in stores, and so I'm just sitting there with my Baja Blast, and I'm like, this is exactly
Wait
what
a
Hauser
minute.
looks like. So I was
Yeah.
Hauser's just the one big Baja Blast. That's why we love him so much. And then AJ adds in
It's a
Baja
Baja Blast with a heart.
Baja Ballast.
Baja Hauser.
Look,
Baja
all
Hauser.
Baja Blasts have a heart. Let's be honest.
I hope he
They're
doesn't die in this
fantastic.
next
So are you
episode.
off the ballast train? Are you just
Oh,
all
I'm all
Hauser?
Hauser.
You're all Hauser.
All Hauser.
I don't know where I am.
Although I'll accept it if it's like an undercover like name. Like if he's also Ballast, like whatever. It happens.
Oh, like
but,
No,
Like
I,
Ingram,
I
but
honestly just think it was an early name that they gave the toy company
gave the
that
toy
they
company.
I
made.
agree.
They printed on the package.
Say their
I
name,
agree.
Matt. Say their name. The toy company.
The toy Hasbro.
Don't give them the
Hasbro.
toy company.
Bro.
But back to the party here on the
Back to the
Vermilion.
party.
We see Boba, that we now know it's Boba that was talking to Aphra and Sana. And then he hustles off into like some hallway where his armor is. I'm guessing the
No,
He had
trade
it in a
unit.
backpack.
It had in the backpack, and the backpack is filled with like Indiana Jones-esque treasure.
Oh yeah, there's like diamonds and stuff. Yeah,
Gold.
gold.
Because like the guys that he like stole everything from, it was the 3 guys, and 2 of them had those like huge backpacks. So who knows what they were doing to like come and trade? We don't know who those guys were, do we?
They're just randos.
Randoms
What
in
is-
some robes. Very
What is
Star
Boba's
Wars.
plan here?
That's a really good question.
Well, he
I'm gonna
says
defer to Levi.
when I gave because he gives Aphra this thing, and he's like, okay, here's the deal. Either I tell everyone who you are, and you get got, or you help me out and you don't get got. So he gives her like a little thing, and says, when I signal this, distract the guards. And so I feel like we'll get the payoff to what he wanted to happen next week or next month rather. But what actually happens is Vader busts in, and Boba's just like, God damn it.
Yeah. What
He
is
says, end quote, we'll see about that, actually. Is the
Dank Ferric.
dank ferret.
That's what he
and
says.
but before Vader
yes.
busts in,
Barth Bader.
Darth Vader, my favorite.
before Vader busts in, we see Leia, Lando, and Chewie in the hallway, and they bump into Boba, and they're all just like, "Great, here we go again."
Yeah, I know. I that's the biggest thing about this whole entire like multi-comic run is that it's huge. Like it basically
Massive.
undoes Empire Strikes Back's ending. Like Boba, the last we see is Boba has Han Solo, flies off. Next we see Jabba has him. It's heavily implied that Boba just kind of delivered Han to Jabba. Jabba hung him on his wall. Now there's like this whole big thing where Boba loses
I don't
him,
know what it
and the
is.
entire galaxy's like underworld is
I don't
bidding
think it is
for him.
implied. I think it's just implied that Boba gets it to him. And I think that is still what will happen.
True,
But-
but
I agree.
holy crap, this is like a huge going on for like
It's a big
not even
shindig.
addressed. Yeah, I mean this is huge. This is very big. I mean,
A
I
lot
love it.
goes
Don't get me
on.
wrong, but
A
mean,
lot
it's-
goes on just for the
Well,
same
no, I
thing
don't
just to
know.
happen.
In the context of the story, the person who would definitely talk about it most if this happened would be Han, and Han is frozen the whole time. So everyone else, like when we see them in Return of the Jedi, they're like, "Thank God we finally got Han out," and that's like that all. It still tracks.
They're-
Like they
they're all
finally
probably
get their
like,
friend.
They're all probably just like, nobody tell Han like this all
Nobody-
happened. We'll just say he
hey,
went
Han,
from.
I heard
I
you're
mean,
worth
Sana-
a million
Sana-
credits.
Sana brings that up in this.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody tell Han that he was worth $1 million.
I think that it makes more sense that all these like adventures like happened like in between because like it really brings up the question like why didn't the original trilogy crew like try to like rescue Han earlier? Why was he
True.
like
That's
on
true.
ice for so long? And so I think
Yeah.
it makes much more sense if there was like a lot more going on with like he kept like literally passing hands before he actually got to Jabba. And then once he got there, they were
mean,
like, "Oh, okay, cool."
There's a lot of
Hands.
stuff now that has been filled in by comics. Like for example, at the end of ESB, when Luke and they get away from Bespin, they get away from Cloud City. And then there's the end where they're in the medical bay. There's like a bunch of stuff that happens in between then and when they get to the medical bay.
Yeah.
There's like a whole. There's
a couple of issues where Luke has no hand and it's just kind of like hanging out. He's like, oh.
and he uses the Force and kills a bunch of TIE fighter pilots. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Great stuff. It's actually Charles. It's Charles Soule's 2020 Star Wars run, and that first arc is like. Previously, one of my favorite Star Wars things was the third volume of Charles Soule's Darth Vader series, which is the one on Mon Calamari, and it ties in like the Clone Wars stuff, and you have Radis there, and it's just
with the bathroom.
No, different bathroom. Actually, there might be a bathroom. Not with, but there is. You know what? The bathroom is there.
I'm loosely following because there are so many comics.
You have homework to do. You have to go back and find every appearance of bathrooms.
Every bathroom.
Yeah, and then
make a video essay on Star Wars bathrooms.
Star Wars bathrooms. Well, anyway. That was another Charles Soule thing that I loved, but this new Star Wars comic, which explores like right after Empire Strikes Back, is just so damn good. And I brought up the 2017 one because a character in that, Verla, actually appears.
Yeah, in the newest run to kind of.
And you have like the Grand Inquisitor payoff.
Yeah, what the hell was that? I want more payoff to that. We don't know. I
want more payoff.
I got enough payoff.
We don't know what's wrong with him.
When he dies, he's okay, Jamie, Grand Inquisitor. You know Rebels. You know Rebels.
I know Rebels, but I'm like he dies. Quote
well, yeah,
unquote.
exactly. He says some things are worse than death.
Yeah.
And he goes like, time to kill myself.
He turns into like he just kind of goes.
Vader like enslaves his spirit.
Which, first of all, that has to be explained because explicitly in canon they are not going with Sith spirits. Unless they're like tied to an object.
Yeah, and he's tied to the temple.
Do we
he's
have
tied to the temple?
Yeah. He's like trapped there. He's trapped on this temple to like lure in Jedi.
I read the comic. I know he appears when Luke is trying to get the saber.
Right.
But I never really read into like him.
Yeah, because he's like, I've been alone. I've been here for so long. Like I'm trapped, and like, please. He's not begging, but he's like, I'm gonna kill you because I'm just trapped here. I just want my life to end, and if I kill you, Vader will let me die. But then like Vader shows up and is like, "Hey, you got anything?" And he's still there, and he's like, "No." And he's like, "All right, see you, Chief." And the Grand Inquisitor is just like depressed, and he like turns into ash. I think it was implied that Vader set up a trap for any Jedi remaining. If they were ever to find the temple, that he would be waiting there, and they would like set off an alarm essentially, and so Vader could come.
Do we have like a full really cool. like information about the founding of the Inquisitorius, or is it just one day it just like starts?
No, we got some founding knowledge. We got
that's in the Vader comics. That's the second run.
Second run.
I need to revisit that one. Honestly,
Dark Lord of the Sith. Good stuff in there. I was
very good stuff. That's like one of the best.
All the Vader runs are fantastic.
So we've diverged here a little bit, but I think it was good because Matt was just talking about the scale of this comic, and Star Wars comics, a lot of grand scale. But yeah, so Boba runs into the OT crew, which I don't think we had the book club yet when they got here, but last issue that we saw them, Star Wars 13, I believe, maybe 14. I think it's 14. Yeah, 13 is when Luke goes back to Nar Shaddaa. That's 14. There's some great stuff with Lando. That's another big thing you're missing out on. In the Star Wars comic world, this Lobot is like one of the best characters in Star Wars, most tragic characters, and you miss that if you don't read some of the comics. So Lando is still like semi working for Bib Fortuna, and Yabba, old Yabs, but he's also wants Han, but they're here. They're trying to get Han too, and Luke's coming as well. Luke is running a patrol with Wedge and Starlight Squadron, named after Starlight Beacon.
Okay.
So Boba Fett. He runs into the OT cast, and then Darth Vader busts in, and Vader's like, Han Solo's mine, and Boba says, "We'll see." So that's the bounty hunters this week, guys.
Finn.
What do you think, Finn?
Not the character Finn, but we mean like finished, like Finn.
Yes, F-I-N, French.
I'm super excited to see what happens next week, and I want to make sure we talk about the Jabba preview that they did today as well. But
yes, we have two previews, one for Vader 14 and one for War of the Bounty Hunters Jabba the Hutt, which we get Deva Lampop, High Republic Bounty Hunter.
Yes.
There she is.
I'm very excited. Created by Justinian Ireland. I'm not all the way through Out of the Shadows yet, so I'm expecting maybe Deva to show up there.
And who do you think they're talking about at the end of the Jabba the Hutt preview.
It's just Boba, but when he fights on Nar Shaddaa, he's as Jango and his armor's black. So I think that's just what it is.
That's what you think that's teasing to?
I know what you're talking about. People are like, it's Din. I'm like,
No. I don't buy into that. I'm not buying that.
I don't buy it either. So anyway, to inform what we're talking about in this preview for next week, Jabba obviously loses that Boba doesn't deliver him the bounty immediately. So he's like, I gotta call up my old friend, Devil Lompop.
Boom.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
She doesn't look like that yet in the comics. She has like a nice head wrap.
Yeah.
But she looks very cool. So she's from the High Republic. She's like 200 years old, plus 300 years old. And she's like an accountant now. She's like an information broker. She pulls a Liara, you know? She's like, I'm going to become a shadow broker. I'm going to retire. But Jabba's like, hey, I need you back in the service, kid, because I need Han Solo. So she's on the case.
Your Jabba is just brilliant. Let me tell you.
Translated Jabba.
Translated
Yeah,
Jabba. Hey, dude.
So we get
I need you back in the game.
Stress. Oh, you said it, yeah.
we get Vader 14 and Jabba next week.
Yep. And
That's
so
been
Vader
it,
14
okay.
is going to be a prequel to what we saw here, though.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
how
Yeah, we
did
got
he
to find
get
out how
to
he gets there.
Party.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just going to be him on the
and
ship.
Sly and our girl Sly Moore
Mm-hmm.
too.
Right. Yeah.
What an un-Star Warsy name.
Slide.
Will we hear
Sly
more about
Moore.
that weird like group of hers at the end of the last Vader?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's a mystery there.
It is.
But I
I'm
enjoyed these
excited
ones.
to see
These were fun.
more info on Maz Amida too. Mass Amida, man.
He's in it.
Maz.
He's in it, and he has
Yeah.
a fun smile. There's a great panel of his like shadow,
Oh yeah,
his silhouetted shadow. It's pretty.
I'm looking at it right now. Looks good.
I thought that was going. You're excited to see Maz Kanata, and I'm like, oh, she's
I
involved.
also thought Maz.
Dude, Maz Amida and Maz Kanata. It's Mass or Maz? It's Mass
and
Amida.
Maz.
Hey, Maz.
I was like, yeah,
Maz.
Maz, Kanata, Mass, Amida.
Yeah. Instead, I say Maz Kanata, not Maz.
Hereditary.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, that's it for book club this week. We'll be back next week with more stuff. So goodbye,
What did-
everybody.
He always ends so unceremoniously.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you
That's
for
the best
watching,
part.
everybody. I appreciate it.
Read your
Puffer
books
Pig.
or listen to us.